Ignited Minds, Chapter 2. Give us a role model. Men often became what they believe themselves to be. If I believe I cannot do something, it makes me incapable of doing it. But when I believe I can, then I acquire the ability to do it even I didn't have it in the beginning. Why should I meet young students in particular? Seeking the answer, I went back to my student days. From the island of Rameshwaram, what a great journey it's been. Looking back, it all seems quite incredible. What was it that made it possible? Hard work, ambition. Many things come to my mind. I feel most important thing was that I always assessed my worth by the value of my contribution. The fundamental thing is that you must know that you deserve the good things of life, the benefit that God bestows. Unless our students and young believe that they are worthy of being citizens of a developed India, how will they ever be responsible and enlightened citizens? There is nothing mysterious about the abundance in developed nation. The historic fact is that the people of these nations, the G8, as they are believed over many generations that they must live a good life in a strong and prosperous nation. The reality became aligned with their aspirations. I do not think that abundance and spirituality are mutually exclusive or that it is wrong to desire material things. For instance, when I personally cherish a life with minimum of possessions, I admire abundance for it brings along with its security and confidence, and these eventually help preserve our freedom. Nature too does not do anything by half measures. As you will see if you look around you, go to a garden in a season, there's a profusion of flowers. Or look up, the universe stretches into infinitude, vast beyond belief. All that we see in the world is an embodiment of energy. We are a part of a cosmic energy too. As Sri Aurobindo says, therefore, when we begin to appreciate that spirit and matter are both part of existence, are in harmony with each other, we shall realize that it is wrong to feel that it is somehow shameful or non spiritual to desire material things. Yet, this is what we are often led to believe. Certainly, there is something wrong with an attitude of making do with the minimum in leading a life of asceticism. Mahatma Gandhi led such a life, but in his case, as in yours, it has to be matter of choice. You follow such a lifestyle because it answers a need that arises from deep within you. However, making a virtue of sacrifice and what is forced upon you to celebrate suffering is a different thing altogether. This was the basis of my decision to contact you, our young, to know their dream and tell them that it is perfectly alright to dream of a good life, an abundant life, a life full of pleasures and comforts, and work for that golden era. Whatever you do must come from the heart. Express your spirit, and thereby you will also spread love and joy around you. My first such meeting took place in a high school of Tripura. It was a gathering of 500 students and teachers. After my talk on the second vision for transforming India into a developed nation, there were a series of questions, two of which I would like to discuss. The first question was, where do we get a role model from? How do you get a role model? Whether we are aware of it or not, from childhood onwards, through various phases of life, we adopt role models. I said, when you are growing up, say till the age of 15, the best role model I can think of would be your father, your mother, and your school teacher. They to my mind, are the people who can impart the best guidance during this period. I turned to the teacher and parents present here and told them what a big responsibility they have. I personally believe the full development of a child with a value system can only come from these people. In my own home, when I was growing up, I used to see my father and mother say Nawaz 5 times a day, and in spite of their modest financial resources, I found them always giving to needy around. My teacher, Shiva Subramaniam Iyer, was responsible for persuading my father to send me to school, setting aside financial constraints. It is very important for every parent to be willing to make the effort to guide children to be good human beings, enlightened and hardworking. The teacher, the child's window to learning and knowledge, has to play the role model in generating creativity in the child. This triangle is indeed the role model I can think of. I would even go to the extent of saying that if parents and teachers show the required dedication to save the lives of the young, India would get a new life. As it is said, behind the parents stand the school, and behind the teacher, the home. Education and teacher student relationship have to be seen not in business terms but with the nation's growth in mind. A proper education would help nurture a sense of dignity and self respect among our youth. These are qualities no law can enforce, they have to be nurtured ourselves. The children enjoyed this answer, though I don't know whether the parents and teacher got the message. Another girl, in all seriousness, asked, every day we read in the newspaper or hear our parents talk about Atankwadis, terrorists. Who are they? Do they belong to our country? This question really shocked me. I myself was searching for an answer. They are our own people. Sometimes we create them through political and economic isolation, or they can be fanatics, sometimes sponsored by hostile nations, trying to disrupt normal life through terrorism. I looked at the audience, at the people sitting by my side, at the teachers, and at the sky for an answer. I said, children, I am reminded of our epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. In the Ramayana, the battle is between the divine hero Ram and demon Ravan. It is a long drawn battle that they finally Rama wins. In the Mahabharata, there is a battle at Kurukshetra. In this fight between good and evil, Dharma wins again. The battles are many, but finally peace triumphs. In our time, too, we have seen this battle between good and evil. For instance, Second World War. It seems to me that both good and evil will survive side by side. The Almighty does help them both to various degrees. How to minimize the evil through our spiritual growth is a question that has persisted throughout human history. On other occasion, I addressed a very large gathering of students at St. Mary's School, Dindugal in Tamil Nadu, on their 75th anniversary celebration. Among the large number of children wishing to meet me were two who were in a hurry to get an answer from me. One student asked, I have read your book Agni Shiragugal, the Tamil version of Wings of Fire. You always give a message to dream. Tell me, why dream? My answer was to ask the gathered children to recite the following: dream, dream, dream. Dream transforms into thoughts, thoughts results in actions. I told them, friends, if there are no dreams, there are no revolutionary thoughts. If there are no thoughts, no action will emanate. Hence, parents and teachers should allow their children to dream. Success always follows dreams, attempted through attempted though there may be some setbacks and delays. Another boy asked, please tell me, why would be the first scientist in the world? It occurred to me science was born and survives only my questions. The whole foundation of science is questioning, and as parents and teachers well know, children are the source of unending questions. Hence, child is the first scientist, I replied. There are thunderous applause. The children enjoyed this different way of thinking. Different teachers and parents also smiled at the answer. During my visit to Assam, I visited Tejpur. I had gone for the convocation ceremony of Tejpur University and also to receive the honorary doctorate conferred on me. After the convocation, I took off to meet school children. It was a big gathering of young people. The theme of my address was Indomitable Spirit. As soon as I finished my talk, the youngsters mobbed me for autographs. When I finished giving autographs, I faced two interesting questions. One was, why cannot water from the Brahmaputra, which is in flood much of the time, be delivered to Rajasthan or Tamil Nadu, which are starved of water? Only children will have these innovative ideas. Grown ups tend to see more impossibilities. It was such a powerful question. I was completely beaten. I was sure even the Prime Minister would not have been able to answer it. How to tell the boy rivers are a state subject and our states are fighting for the rights to their waters, that these would bring them prosperity someday. But meanwhile, they were flowing wastefully into the sea and causing floods every year. How to answer it? I said India Vision 2020 demands from the young that they start a great mission of connecting rivers cutting across the states. I personally feel the young have the most powerful minds. They can overcome the negativity of the bureaucracy and some self centered policies of the state governments to enrich the people of the country. They can even improve coordination between the states and the center, and they surely will. Another student asked me a question for which again I had no ready answer. He said, Sir, big leaders in any field don't come to talk to us. We see our Prime Minister often going to Chennai, Lucknow, and many places, but he never come here. We want him, we talk to him. I was impressed by this argue to communicate with the country's leader. I said when I reach Delhi, I will tell your dream to the leaders and your dream will come true. I later narrated this to Prime Minister. He conceded the point and said, children don't talk to me anymore. Maybe the security cordon had created a separation. I request our leaders in different fields to interact more with the children of the country for better understanding of their own purpose in life as also for helping create a better future for our children. I have visited Jharkhand a number of times after its formation. Every time I visit, I am struck by the tremendous resources that wait to be harnessed in the state, which will multiply its wealth manifold. At the Sri Ramakrishna High School, Bokaro, I addressed a gathering of about 3,000 students and saw their creativity on display in an exhibition of their paintings, toys, and other items made by them. In my conversation with them, one student asked me, in Jharkhand, it is green everywhere. We have forests, streams, and hills. Why is it that we have a desert in Rajasthan? The question remained me of a similar one in Assam. Why cannot the Brahmaputra's water be taken to Tamil Nadu and Rajasthan? 20 years ago, you would not have been much cultivation in Rajasthan, but once the Indira Gandhi Canal was constructed, agriculture became possible in many places. It is possible for man to transform the desert into a fertile land. I repeated what I had told to the student in Assam. It has to be one of the greatest mission of India to connect rivers so that water can reach many water starved states. Visionary action is needed. When you grow up, you will probably be part of reconstructing this nation and giving shape to these thoughts. One child came to me with a serious expression and asked, "Sir, will your Agni missile cross the ocean and reach America?" I was a little startled by this thought. For us, no country is our enemy to send Agni there, particularly America is our friend. Agni symbolizes our strength. It shows that India has all the capabilities. During my visit to Cuttack, I participated in the birthday celebration of the late Justice Harihar Mahapatra. I went there at an invitation of Justice Ranganath Mishra. For me, it was a revelation how the independence movement, the first vision of the nation, had created the larger than life figure of Justice Harihar Mahapatra. He lived to the age of 92 and established Cuttack Eye Hospital, Utkal University, and above all, organized multi-pronged effort to remove poverty. My biography in Uriya was released. At the end of my speech, the youngsters crowding around put forth many questions. The first question was, "Sir, tell us which are your favorite books that you loved and which have shaped your mind." I said, "Four books in my life have been very close to my heart. I cherish reading them. The first is Man the Unknown by Dr. Alexis Carrel, a doctor turned philosopher and Nobel laureate. This book highlights how the mind and body both have to be treated in a alignment ailment as the two are integrated. You cannot treat one and ignore the other. In particular, children who dream of becoming doctor should read the book. They will learn that human body is not a mechanical system. It is a very intelligent organism with a most intricate and sensitive feedback system. The second book, one I venerated, is Tiruvalluvar's Tirukural, which provide an excellent code of life. The third is Light from Many Lamps by Lillian Eckler Watson, which has touched me deeply. It illuminates how we live and has been an invaluable guide to me for 50 years. And the Holy Quran is, of course, a constant companion. While I was addressing another gathering of school children in Anand, Gujarat, one smart boy asked very intelligent question, "Who is our enemy?" I liked the question and put it to other students, encouraging them to come forward with their views. They come the answer, poverty. What a wise reaction from this young child whom I have mentioned in the dedication. The last question which I am including here come from the powerful mind of another child. "Tell me, sir, are Pakistani weapons stronger than Indian?" Once I asked the child why this doubt arose in his mind. Reports he read in media led him to think so. He said, "This is a unique characteristic of our country to belittle our capabilities. It may even be genetic." I said, "India can design, develop, and produce any type of missile and any type of nuclear weapon. This is a capability only four countries in the world have. You remove all the doubts from your mind," I told the child, who gave me a very satisfied look. I have selected only 11 questions here from among the hundred of questions I have been asked during the course of meeting 40,000 high school students so far. The questions reflect the children's innocence, but most of all, they show how strongly they feel the desire to live in a strong and prosperous nation. I also realized from these sessions how important it is for them to have role models, whether in science, industry, sports, entertainment, or some other field. The question is, can we give our children a role model, and how? At the dawn of the new millennium came the news that a human genome had been decoded. all the 30,000 genes that human beings carry today, we are told are identical to those of our Stone Age ancestors who lived thousands of years ago. One of the traits that has come down to us from them, along with others that are needed for survival, is the desire for achievement. It is said that nature gave us this instinct because the need to achieve, like the need to reproduce, the need to eat, the need to drink, and the need to breathe, is simply too important to be left to chance. History shows the hunger for achievement is a highly evolved one and undoubtedly the strongest one. We tend to forget it, but it underlines much of our experience. Most important, without it, how would we learn and grow, aspire to greater perfection? I have seen Dr. Vikram Sarabhai's vision succeeding over 3 decades through sustained and coordinated achievement at work in that and any other endeavor was this same desire to exceed the limits. As we try to as we try and excel, role model play a guiding role. The power of Vikram Sarabhai was such that others took up his vision and completed it long after he was no more. For you, it could be someone else whom you admire, a sports person, a children, a successful entrepreneur. I recently had a chance to meet a legendary personality, a role model herself. Lata Mangeshkar was presiding over a function in remembrance of her father, Master Dinanath Mangeshkar. Lata Mangeshkar is the recipient of Bharat Ratna, and I felt honored that she had asked me to inaugurate the 450-bed Dinanath Hospital and Research Center in Pune. I visited the hospital just before the inauguration. I found that it would be treating nearly 30% of the patients free. I was touched by the fact that despite her wealth and fame, she had not lost sight of the fact that one needs to do all one can to help relieve the suffering of others. Her songs played over the radio have brought pleasure to countless hearts over the decades. During the India China conflict in 1962, her song "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logon" moved an entire nation. Few people can claim to have influenced the lives of millions in such a delightful way. Role models can help us focus on what is correct for us as individuals, as groups, and of course as a nation. They can also lead us to great success. We seem to have got carried away with the success of a few in the field of information technology. But that is indeed nothing compared to what we can and should achieve. Ancient India was a knowledge society and a leader in many intellectual pursuits, particularly in the field of mathematics, medicine, and astronomy. A renaissance is imperative for us to once again become a knowledge superpower rather than simply providing cheap labor in areas of high technology. A nation's wealth is the young generation of the country. When they grow up, who can be the role models? Mother, father, and elementary school teachers play a very important role as role models. When the child grows up, the role model will be nation's leaders of quality and integrity in every field, including politics, the science, technology, and industry. Thanks for watching our video. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.